come and take your seat. Toyota mana program yatu riko humbera uri barenganda vade vagema duro avo. And as we are entering here, I was advised to advise you that the surface is very uneven. Please take care when you walk here. Apa petro aungo to dzudzana zvavudi au straight. Other thing they does notice sunara kudzura kazo. Munazvine azongotovofeya chote. So vachidzura vazvitogomere. A very special request to very special people. By the way, special people, I'm referring to you, all of you who are here. Let us all take out our cell phones. Hold your cell phone if you have it. Hold your cell phone. This is something that you have to see on your cell phone. Make sure that you switch off your cell phone. It won't be long. Switch off your cell phone. The reason why we are doing this event will be streamed. And if all of us, our cell phones are busy, it makes it very difficult for the system to be loaded with this information. So I know my phone now, it's not necessary. I'm switching it off and do the same. Koba humbela ri image cell phone zakhe. Ndoba humbela hey program yacho ayingaji chipinga chilapfu. And nawo yaji chipinga chilapfu. Asi chine vone vangatofirwa nga mafhungo manzhi ya fhanoni. Zwino arali rasatsima system ine ya khou shuma uri na vhaṅwe vha vhe tshipiḓa tsha mushumo hounoni zwi ita uri zwi sa swike zwavhuḓi. It's a privilege uri na vhone vha vhe hafhanoni a vhathu vha na right. So vhathu vhoṱhe vho funa vha vhe hafhanoni nga ṅwambo wa nyimele ine ra vha nayo vha zwi ḓivha a zwi konadzei. Zwino kha ri vhavaleli na vhasihoho uri na vhone vha vhe vha tshi khou ri vhona ri tshi khou ita hoyu mushumo. On that note, I will ask our DJ, if we call you DJ, don't fight me. Today only you are our DJ. Give us one song. Orurimbo ruchitopera, we will humbly request Pastor Reverend Peter Mudau to come to the podium here and open our service with word of prayer. Ari wane kuimbo richikota kusa vafunzi vomudau. Let us pray. Jehovah, mune washura mandote. Riko sendera panda havo. Ngano masiari. Riko mwakinga na panero. Chewa larkene jatone. Chauta mwana imekinero. Yakumuji. Ewa muranda wavo Sigogo. Ria vahumbera mune washu ngauditu kufadza uri kavaranga pfanda shumero hei vashudufadze na vote vene va ḓuvha na mukove kha tsumba mushumo va ita uri ive tshumelo ine ya tshila nga nḓila yo lulaho kha vha shumisade na tshipida tsho ambiwa i kha ḽa vhone uri ri pfhe uri vhone vha ri mini sa muno wa zwoṱhe musi ri khou fhira kha tshiṅwe tshifhinga. Ri na zwinzhi zwine vhathu zwine ra zwi nga zwine ra zwi kwama, fhedzi ri fhulufhela uri vhone vha ḓo ri ṋea zwoṱhe nga u fhulufhedzea havho. Ri khou ḓa phanḓa havho muṋe washu ri khou tenda na u fhulufhela uri vha ḓo vha na riṋe nga Yesu Kristo. Amen. Elivhuwa vhafunzi vho murahu vho ri vulela mushumo hononi nga thabelo. Ḓuvha heḽi ḽa ṋamusi ndi ḓuvha ḽine ra khou elelwa vhutshilo ha Lutendo Sigogo. Vhaṅwe ni nga mu vhidza nga dziṅwe dzi title dzine na vha nadzo. Some call him acting justice, some call him advocate, some call him whatever. I call him Lutendo Sigogo. When the family informed me that I will come and direct this program, I wasn't very comfortable. Lutendo is my friend. I know as tshifhinga tsho amba nga ha vhushaka hanga na Lutendo, but I'm telling you, if you find or I'm acting somehow during this program, bankangwele ndi khou itiswa nga zwine zwa khou itea kha nṋe zwi. Ndi khou vhidza muimeleli wa muṱa kana muthu ono ḓoḓa a ri ṱanganedza, a ri fha maipfhi a u ri ṱanganedza, vhane vha vha vho Ailendo a vha ḓe hangenoni phanḓa, vha ḓe vha vhe na maipfhi ane vha ḓo vha vha tshi khou ṱanganedza gogo heḽinoni. Zwihulwane vha humbule zwa uri hu na vhane vha khou tou ri vhona dzi nga vha kha dzi founu, kha dzi theḽevishini, na vhone vha vha ṱanganedze vho Nḓou.
Ndo livhuwa mutshimbidza mushumo u vhidziwa uri ndi ḓe nga ngeno phanḓa ṱanganedze vhathu vhoṱhe vho kona u swika hafha na vhane vha khou tou uri joina vha henefho hune vha vha hone. Tshimbidza mushumo kha vha ntendele uri musi ndi sathu vha ṱanganedza ndi bule haya maipfhi ngo pfufhifhadza, ndi tshi itela uri musi hezwi ndi tshi khou vha ṱanganedza vha zwi pfhe zwavhuḓi zwa uri ndi khou vha ṱanganedzela nṱha ha zwithu zwo tou dzulisaho hani kana kha zwithu zwifhio. Ro ḓa hafha muṱani hoyu ṋamusi nga heḽi ḓuvha ḽe ḽa dzudzanyiwa uri ri elelwe kana ri pembelele vhutshilo ha Lutendo. Vhathu vhaṅwe vha sokou ḓivha uri Lutendo zwa thoma hanefho zwa ya phanḓa, vha si ḓivhe uri ndi Lutendo ro no khou bva gai. Ndi ngazwo ndo ri mutshimbidza mushumo kha vha ntendele ndi ri mavhili mararu uri vhathu vhoṱhe vha ri afha kha program vha kone u zwi ḓivha. Hoyo ri kuvhanganyaho hafha ndi mundalamo, wa Tshishonga. Hapa kha Vandaramo huna madavhi manzhi nga maanḓa. Zwino ndi ḓo litsha madavhi haya ndi khou vhulunga hetshi tshifhinga nda amba nga Tshisapfungo Jani hune hoyu o ri kuvhanganyaho hafha ndi he ene a mela hone. Zwo pfufhifhala nga maanḓa hezwo zwithu. Hoyu ndi Lutendo we a vha ṅwana wa Vho Ntshavheni Edward na Vho Ndivhudzanyi Emily Mutshembele. Zwino ndo tori ndi bvule haya maipfi nyana mapfufhi ndi khou itela uri ndi vha ṱanganedze zwavhuḓi vha zwi fhedza uri ndi khou vha ṱanganedzela nṱha ha muthu o tou itisaniho. Vhathu vhoṱhe kha vha pfhe vho ṱanganedzea muṱani hoyu wa Sigogo. Ri khou vha ṱanganedza ri tshi fulufhela uri na vhone vha ḓo ṱanganedzea. Ri vha ṱanganedza ro sedza zwithu zwo vhalaho. Ri khou vha ṱanganedza vho swika fhano muṱani vho ḓo vha tshipiḓa na riṋe. Ri vha ṱanganedza vho ḓa fhano muṱani uri ni zwi songo dzulaho zwavhuḓi fhano muṱani zwi dzule zwavhuḓi ngauri vhone ro vha ṱanganedza vho ḓa. Ri vha ṱanganedza hu itela uri ri tshi yo khunyeledza mushumo hoyu u kone u vha mushumo une hanefho une wa ḓo vha u khou ambiwa u thetshelesee. U kone u vha mushumo une henefho une zwa ḓo vha u hone u ambeye. Ndi ngazwo ri tshi khou rini ri khou vha ṱanganedza ri khou vha ṱanganedzela hezwo. Nga maṅwe maipfi ri khou nyaga u amba uri zwine vha vhona zwi songo tou dzula zwavhuḓi vha ṱavhanye vha zwi lugise vhone u itela uri zwi ambeye zwi thetshelesee. Ri vha ṱanganedza nga zwanḓa zwivhili hafha muṱani hoyu wa Sigogo hu itela uri zwithu zwezwo zwe nda zwi bula zwi tshimbile lwa vhudele. Kha musi ngo pfufhifhadza ri khou nyaga u vhulunga na itshi tshifhinga mutshimbidza mushumo tshe vha tshi amba zwa uri ndi tshifhinga tshine a vha khou tou nyaga tshi tou lapfha. Ndi nga ḓivhadza haya mafhungo zwa uri hafha muṱani wa Sigogo ndi muṱani uno swikelelea nga maanḓa. Ndi muṱani wa vhathu vho vulaho zwanḓa. Khou nyaga u sumbedzisa uri ni miḓi yoṱhe ine vha khou i vhona i hafha a huna na muḓi na muthihi une u si tshimbidzane zwavhuḓi na muṱa hoyu wa Sigogo. Zwine zwa tou amba fhedzi uri arali vha khou nyaga u thusalea nga tshiṅwe na tshiṅwe vha dzhena vha ḓo vha thusa vha vha sumbedza vhathu vho teaho uri vha vha thuse. Hafha nnḓa hafha ri na zwifhaṱo zwivhili zwo fhaṱiwaho nga vha Muramba zwine kha tshifhaṱo tshithihi tshi na rumu mbili ine kha dzedzo rumu mbili dzi sumbedza muthu wa tshifumakadzini kha tshifanyiso na muthu wa tshinnani kha tshifanyiso. Zwino ndi hune arali vha khou nyaga u ḓithusa kha dzi rumu vha yaya ro vha tendela. Fhedziha ri a zwi ḓivha zwa uri ni vha tshi ya hone ndi khou takalela uri mutshimbidza mushumo vha amba uri hezwi zwidulo hezwi hu na zwiṅwe songo tou ṱumana zwavhuḓi na henengei vha tshi ya vha yelwa vhudele vha tshi khou sumbedzela uri na vhone vha muthu wa vhudele. Tshimbidza mushumo u itela uri ri vhulunge itshi tshifhinga ngo angaredza vhathu kha vha pfhe vho ṱanganedzea vha re kha program vha ḓe vha fhirise zwipiḓa zwavho lwa vhudele na vhane ra vha navho vho tou joinaho muyani kha vha pfhe ro vha ṱanganedza sa muṱa wa Sigogo. Tshimbidza mushumo ngani ya maipfi ndi khou livhuwa ndawendo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ndo. We are proceeding with our program. There are 8 items for its tributes by different people or groups, which we will call them one by one, and you come and tell us about Benedict Sigogo. Tell us everything. We want to know. Yesterday, you will remember, Boemeli, there was that lady who was talking to you. She spoke about Benedict that I don't know. And I believe today we're gonna hear a lot of Benedicts that you don't know. And we want to know him. So tell us how you know this giant, you know this legend. So I'm calling the Thohoyandou Attorney Association rep, Mr. Vuredzani Matiba, who will come and tell us about Mr. Sigogo. You may come to the podium. Can we give him a hand of applause just to give him courage? It's he amongst us. Bovuredzani. Oh, maybe I should have done roll call before anything else. So while we are waiting for Vuredzani, maybe then let us go to the Polokwane Attorney Association chairperson, Mr. Podu Mdluli. Mrs. You see, I was giving you some, you know, I don't know whether it's promotion or what. You will tell us. It's a devotion. Oh.
Very life.
Now you want to make me to become a lady.
It will definitely be a demotion, Master of Ceremonies. I've been graced with an opportunity of carrying life. I'm a woman. Ladies and gentlemen, the judiciary that are present in here, I will go according to the program to observe protocol. First Lady, Pamudawa Sigogo, the chairperson of the BLA, Mr. Makafula, the Honorable Judge President, Francis Lehodi, the National Secretary, Ms. Mabayeng, representing the BLA nationally, President Mvuso Nochetsi, the legal representative of the LPC, Deputy Chairperson Advocate Anthea Plast SC, all members of the judiciary present today, the stakeholders from the LP, the NPA, the attorneys, the advocates, family advocates, and all other stakeholders on site and online. Receive the greetings from the Polokwane Legal Practitioners Association. I stand here today representing them all the way from Polokwane. It was befitting for us as an organization to come and pay our tribute here physically and not online, mindful of the restrictions that we all are faced with. But given the type of men that we are celebrating today, we saw it fit that I should come and represent the organization physically. Now, Comrade President, which is a title that we all know him by, which is befitting, was a member of the Polokwane Legal Practitioners Association. The last membership that he paid was in 2018-2019. And in 2020, like all other members who were hit by COVID-19, up until now with some, he was not able to renew his membership. So he was a member, albeit not in good standing. We are here to celebrate one of our own. Allow me to quote this I had to write so that I don't speak randomly, because there's a lot to speak about this man, but I also know, and I'm mindful of time. I quote, "The highest tribute to the dead is not grief, but gratitude," close quote. Norton Wilder is the man who said this. This morning I stand being grateful for God for allowing us an opportunity to live in the times of Comrade Lutendo Sigogo, a man of exceptional excellence, a man who worked very hard, a man who gave his life to this profession. One thing about a name is that it lives beyond us. So even if we are going to be bidding farewell to him tomorrow in the physical form that he was here in, his name will continue to live on, because his work will continue to represent him. He was a man of integrity. I remember one time during the elections, but whilst in the BLA, along the corners, you know how the election modes are and what usually goes on around that season. One of the people I eavesdropped and I heard them say, "Benile Nautonyakuri is a good man, man. He's just black and white. There's no working around him, because he's as good like that. He is clean like that. He's full of integrity." Integrity is what you do when nobody else is watching. We were proud to be associated with him as a man. We are grateful for him having left a legacy that we as the young practitioners will continue to live up to. He has left us as a black people a legacy to say that partnerships that can live and be sustained amongst us, which is something that is very rare amongst us African people. I want to say the following to you, First Lady, and this is a title I gave you as soon as the President ascended, and I quote, "Goodbyes are only for those who love with their eyes. Because for those who love with heart and soul, there is no such a thing as separation." So I'm saying this to you, that you may be separated with him in the physical form, but because you loved him with a heart, and I know he loved you, he even proclaimed that publicly in one of the sessions that we had at Bolivia Lodge. He spoke to you, us, and he celebrated you, and we knew how much he loved you. And I want to say lastly to all of us that are practitioners that continue to emulate people like Comrade Sigogo, it is very disheartening that when you see on a week-to-week basis in our roles where you find young people who have only practiced for 2 years or less than 5 years being struck off from the role. And you can only wonder if we will have the likes of Comrade President Sigogo, who will die being fit and proper. And I, for one, was personally looking forward when I'm going to be interviewed in the JC in October, looking at a familiar face, which is him, as part of the commissioners, to just find some comfort, to say at least there's a familiar person that I know that I can fix my eyes on as I'm being grilled there. But unfortunately, death has its own way. So to us all, I close with this quote, and I open quote. "The bitterest tears shed over the graves are for words left unsaid and deeds left undone," close quote, by Harriet Beecher Stowe. We have learned, especially in this time that we are living in of the pandemic and with the untimely death of our president, that today is what we have. We may not have an opportunity to do what we think we will tomorrow, the next hour, or another day. So let us make sure that we do not shed the bitterest of the tears by the unsaid things, by the undone deeds that we were supposed to do and not do. Let us do it now. May the Lord comfort you and help you as you go through this grief as a family. Our sincere condolences as Polokwane Attorneys Association. Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony.
Thank you very much, Miss Poti Mudluli. I used to wonder why men in court are, they used to wear wigs. Do you know that? Are you still wearing them? You know why they used to wear that? There's no argument that you can win with a woman. So they wanted to be like women. I understand you now. Now I understand you. You said it's a demotion. It's fine. Let's call upon Mr. Director Makafula. It's BLA provincial rep who will come and share with us what you know about our late. I feel like, okay, I don't want to call my friend late, but it's my friend. It's fine. You can come. Can we give him a hand of applause? Yeah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As they've indicated on the program, my name is Director Makafula. I'm the chairperson of Limpopo BLA branch. That's where it started. So firstly, let me greet and acknowledge all the members of the judiciary who are here, JP Logodi of Mpumalanga Division and Judge Logodi of this division in Toyando, and other members of the judiciary who are here. Let me further acknowledge the presence of all the leaders from different structures, NADEL, LPC who are going to speak, and all comrades who are here, and let me greet also those comrades who are not here with us, who are joining us elsewhere where they are sitting. I greet them all and all protocol observed. Like I said, as Limpopo branch, that's where everything started with Comrade Benny. We as the BLA in the branch, we have lost a shining star. He started in the branch until he led the BLA on a national platform as the president. I met Comrade Benny when we were still at the University of Venda here, but he was 2 years my senior. Was about to finish when I was starting. And we again met in the BLA, in the branch, before he can go to national. He was our leader in the branch. We worked closely with him, but we became very, very close, and I will say also, to that level, I lost a personal friend. When Comrade Benny was called to go and serve us on the national level, that's all you will hear, that he was the president of the BLA National. The 2 terms which he campaigned, I was appointed from the branch before I can be the chairperson as his campaign manager, or they call it chief of campaign. I was running his CR 17 for his 2 terms. Me and him, we started working very closely, and we became very, very close to such an extent that he was my friend. Personally, we'll sit the whole night discussing BLA politics, how the leadership of the BLA should look like, how his campaign should run. I was the contact person for all the provinces in coordinating to see to it that Comrade Benny becomes the president. For the 2 terms which he served, I was his manager or chief campaigner. We became very close. We have lost a leader in the branch, especially. We have lost our shining star, the person who the province, the branch, was very proud of. Wherever he goes, we know that Comrade Benny will represent us with exception, and he will always make sure that people know that he is a member of the BLA and he belongs to the Limpopo branch. We used to be proud of him, we're still proud of him. We will sit, me and him. Comrade Benny he was a funny man. He was a comedian on his own accord. People will see us sitting in meetings and after meetings and during breaks, or even after meetings, me and him will be laughing the whole night, and they'll be surprised. What are these two laughing about? Comrade Benny was not a person who, as you know, the person who used to take cold ones, unlike some of us. But he will sit with us the whole night, laughing with us. Every time Comrade Benny look at me, before he can speak, he will laugh for almost 2-3 minutes, just laughing at me for reasons known to him. But we had a way of sharing jokes, me and him. Every time I'll call him or he'll call me, the first 5-10 minutes, we'll just be laughing at each other without talking. So that's how we became close. Before we can even talk about BLA politics, we'll share some light moments and so on, and before we get to the point. But my point being, Comrade Benny was very accessible. We all know, without this work rate, which all we know, his work rate, it speaks for itself. I'm not going to talk about that. You'll even see from that obituary. But personally, as the head of the branch in Limpopo, JP Logodi, Kaspedi ware dipanology. Dipanology. Ebe panne ka Comrade Benny. Let's say that wherever we can send Benny as the branch, we know he's going to represent us well. He knows he's going to carry out the mandate we've given him as the BLA in the branch. We know he'll come and report to us what happened and what should have happened. He always comes back to us and guide us. He has participated in all what we have seen in the program which is before us here, because he was an excellent leader and he was trusted comrade and cadre of ours. So for me, from the BLA in the branch, we're saying condolence to the family. We know that Benny has 2 families. One of the family is the BLA, his first family, and secondly, his family is with the family of Sigogo and his children. So we are saying to the second family of Sigogo, please take care of the legacy. Masgogo, our colleague, she's here. Please take care of the legacy of Comrade Sigogo through the children and the family of Sigogo, his brothers and siblings, and everybody. That is the only way we can keep his legacy going. I should say, his legacies are divided into Part A and Part B. So yours will take care of Part B. The legacy which he has left for BLA is Part A, which us as the BLA members will continue to protect and take forward his legacy, whatever he has left, which is immense, it's unmeasurable. His contribution cannot be measured with anything. So we have the responsibility to then carry the torch, which is there on that banner, which Comrade Benny has handed to us to keep it light as it is and carry it forward by protecting his legacy. That I think we owe him so much. So to the comrades in my branch, to the national executive, my executive in the national, and everybody who knows Comrade Sigogo, his friends, family, siblings, and everybody, we have lost, we are poor without Comrade Benny. We are lost for words, we are shattered. We don't know what to say, but we trust God will give us strength. To the wife of Benny, our condolences. Please just draw that strength from Mama Sigogo. I was telling her yesterday that she's very strong. I'm not saying you can emulate her, but try to draw that strength from her. Take care of together the children and the family together, that the legacy of Comrade Sigogo should not fall apart. With these few words, ladies and gentlemen, comrades, from Limpopo branch, as the chairperson of the BLA in the province, I say our condolences to all of you, and we are really lost for words. We don't know what to say, but we trust that God will give us comfort. With these few words, I thank you, Program Director.
Thank you very much, Mr. Makafula, who is telling us he had a comrade. He had somebody that he can rely on. And we believe everyone have got a role to play in this world. And BLA, I believe you have created a legacy through Benedict Sigogo. And we want to appreciate what was happening. Maybe when the student comes here, will tell us about or more about BLA's role. We are calling upon Mr. Shandukani Mudau, and the person who is read it's not Mr. Unless if you are challenging me, I can bet my salary. After Shandukani Mudau, I won't come back until Miss Mabayengi Linyai has concluded his speech, her speech. So after you, then Miss Mabayengi Linyai will come to the podium too. Thank you.
And Sia River to water. Ima Wapanoni, as the program director, have already indicated, the Miss Shandukani Mudau the current sitting president of the BLA student chapter. I know my shirt is saying Secretary General. I am probably wearing a wrong t-shirt today. Comrades, thank you, Program Director, for indicating that when we come to the podium, we must say everything that we want to say and express everything that we want to express. Comrades, it is very much not easy for one to stand before you and articulate matters as they want to articulate. However, I found it necessary that I sit down and type something that I want to say without leaving anything. Greetings to the Sigogo family, friends, relatives, and colleagues. Firstly, I would like to pass my sincere condolences to the mother of Comrade Lutendo Sigogo, the former president of the BLA, his wife and kids, his colleagues, as well as all the different institutions he has served in during his time. I am honestly lost for words and overwhelmed with emotions right now. To some of us, his departure is and will continue to be a very hard pill to swallow. Somehow, I wish this was just a horrible dream and someone would come and pitch me and I would wake up and we will just go back to normal. However, it is not, and there's nothing we can do about that. There is a saying so old. It is in Latin. De mortuis nil nisi bonum, which means speak nothing but good of the dead. One of the worst things about living these days is the over-constant and present reminder of how short our time on earth is. Comrade Lutendo Benedict Sigogo's death is different. It was tragically premature. To us, he seemed to be in great physical and mental shape, and his inquiring spirit was always young. His family and friends, his colleagues, members of the student chapter, and all the people around the world who have benefited from his work have been cheated of many more good years of Comrade Lutendo Sigogo. Comrade Lutendo Benedict Sigogo, during and after his term as president of the BLA, worked hard with the student chapter to improve our analysis and insights on how we should view our future as aspirant legal practitioners. He was truly tireless in that role and was greatly appreciated and also loved for it. And as a result, he helped grow the vision of the student chapter and the overall improvement of the legal law around the country. The most remarkable thing about the former president, Comrade Benedict Sigogo, was his selflessness and goodwill. He never pushed or sought anything for himself, and he was always willing to extend himself for others. He pitched in and just did what he needed to do, as well as what needed to be done, without complaining, without also needing or seeking recognition. Even after his term had ended, he was an active, and he also engaged a colleague as anyone. And always modest, soft-spoken, and he was a great president. I will therefore proceed and share with you the messages that I got from former BLA student chapter president that led with and under the leadership of Comrade Penny Sigogo. Although we live in the most treacherous of all era, made even worse by the advent of the novel COVID-19 virus, your sudden departure left us in a shock. It feels unreal, that the president, from whom we had so much to learn in the past years, has left without saying goodbye. I, however, find solace in the fact that we shared so many inspiring moments with you while you were still alive. I was fortunate to see you hard at work with your sleeves rolled up to obliterate all forms of injustice. You did all you could to realize the transformation agenda of your movement, which was the BLA. At this stage, I can only repeat after John of Salisbury that because of you and leaders of your generation, we are like dwarfs sitting on the shoulders of giants we see more, and things that are more distant that you did, not because our sight is superior or because we are taller than you, but because you raised us up, and by your great stature add to ours. Your selflessness was always laid bare in every sacrifice you made in order to level the playing field in your professional space. You were always found amongst those who protested on the ground with placards against the powers that be. You were always in various committees within the organization you served, ready to drive the agenda of justice and transformation. Above all, you were always ready to guide the steps of the student chapter. May the BLA, the entire legal profession, your family and loved ones find comfort in the fact that you were without fail an excellent representative of their collective aspirations. And thus is the farewell message from some of the president of the student chapter, Comrade Edmund Ramahodi. Comrade President Lutendo Sigogo was about excellence and hard work, and he also led by example. Young people who were his juniors knew that and were inspired by the same. You could call him at 1 a.m. in the morning for work-related queries, and he would be busy working, readily available to teach and also guide and also to mentor. An intellectual, yet practical, and in touch with the daily necessities of running an organization, especially as he was previously a Secretary General. He was himself, and that made him an influential leader. He wasn't moved to be or act like anyone. Gentle in his approach, soft in his speech, yet firm, and he was also a decisive person. Personally, as the first female student chapter president, he never once made it seem as though my being a female is a call of differential treatment, and this was the case with all the other women leaders in the executive and other ad hoc structures. He valued women in leadership and ensured that there was never a sense of inequality. He was a listener and ensured that he was in tune with members, even those without the student chapter. This was also a farewell message by the first female president of the BLA student chapter, Comrade Pearl Biela. Lutendo Sigogo is what I would refer as the rarest of being within the legal fraternity. A truly humble father who was warm and interacted with the youth in the most respectful manner. Always modest, stern but soft-spoken. A gentle giant who imparted his vast legal knowledge wherever the opportunity presented itself. He treated everyone equally well, with attention, concern, and respect, from the eccentric questionnaire during a heated debate to the newest and most clueless law student. We will remember him as always being the gentleman who never complained, always cautious if something needed fixing organizationally. He was always willing to lend an ear, advise accordingly, and share words of guidance, wisdom, and encouragement for the betterness of the student chapter. Respect, courtesy, and gentleness were certainly important parts of Ntate Sigogo's character. But of his many virtues, the one that strikes me the most powerfully was his integrity. Ntate Sigogo did what he thought was right, whether or not it was popular or good for his career. He never even seemed to think about doing anything else. He never seemed to be tempted, because doing anything other than the right thing never seemed to occur to him as an option. I want to end with a personal word. To me, Ntate Sigogo was more than a president of the BLA. He became a father, a mentor, an encourager of young black women in law, and a model of what one could become if they set their mind on the right track and worked hard on honing their craft. I am deeply saddened but grateful that our path crossed. He will be dearly missed. And that was the last message from the former BLA President, Ms. Nompumelelo Khaba. In my conclusionary remarks, I repeat after Theodore Roosevelt and say Comrade Lutendo Sigogo was the man in the arena. And further state that it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong person stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and also blood, who strives violently, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcomings, but who does not actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, and that is if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. The former president did fight the good fight, and he has finished his race. Life is unexpected, and death or sorrow can come at any time. There's no way for us to prepare for these terrible events. But where there is loss, it is key to always remember that there is another life with God in heaven. But no matter how much we try to remember that our loved ones have moved on to a better place, we still grieve. It is a natural process, and it takes time to heal. During the darkest times, it is important to turn to our friends, family, and most importantly, our own faith for support. On behalf of the BLASC student chapter, its members and alumni, we are individually and collectively in his debt. It is comforting, though, to think that Comrade Lutendo Sigogo will live on as part of the continuing fabric of the BLA student chapter, influencing as an indelible part of the organization and touching the lives of countless young Black legal practitioners. He will be dearly missed. Kavedere Gamuraro Mrangapanda.
I know I said I once go on the podium before Miss Mabaye, but I've got a quick announcement to make. Can you hear me? But then I'm not speaking to you who are here. I want to speak to the people who are watching through the links that were sent out. Can you hear me, guys? Not you, not you. Are they showing that? Right. I'm asking all people who are not on the program, those who are not going to speak on the program, to move to the YouTube. Please drop and go to the YouTube. I will only remain with people who are on the program, on this program, on the Zoom link. Please connect to the YouTube. And if you don't do that, you will disturb our program. There are people who will be using the Zoom link to be part of this program. And if we are overloading the Zoom link, it's crashing. Hence, we are asking you to move to the YouTube link. I hope that is clear. Thank you very much. Ms. Lihodi, you can come to the fore. Miss who? Mabayeng, who's Lihodi? Who is Lihodi anyway? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, you can come to the fore and take the podium and tell us. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mabayeng Linyai, Mr. Program Director. Baga Linyai, batla go faina. Ke le tshwaretse. You will forgive me, Program Director. I'm going to start by breaking one of the rules. Unfortunately, my speech is on my phone. Can I proceed?
Yeah, if it's on airplane mode, it's fine.
Thank you. If I may greet everyone here, the family of Sigogo, Madam, as I used to call you, the family of the Black Lawyers Association, the judiciary that is here, the leadership of the Legal Practice Council, members of the community who are here, the children of Sigogo, all protocol observed. My name is Mabayeng Linyai, as I've indicated. I am the General Secretary of the Black Lawyers Association. Before I read the speech that I have written, I would like to tell you about President, as I used to call him and I'm still calling him. For me, it's difficult to think of him of a former everything because President is so present in my mind. When I first met him, I was still the chairperson of the Northwest branch of the BLA. He called me together with director, the current chairperson of Limpopo. I'm a very private person, shy, I might say. They called me and they told me that, Mabayeng, it's time that you take your rightful seat. And I said, President, what are you talking about? He said to me that terrible things happen when good people do nothing. He said to me, it is time for you to come and join me in the leadership of the BLA and help me to steer this ship forward. He told me that it is not comfortable to be in the leadership. But it is not about comfort. It is about working very hard to make sure that you become a solution to the challenges that our organization and the rest of our country are encountering. I was very comfortable being a chairperson of one of the smallest branches in the Black Lawyers Association. He took me out of my comfort zone and put me right in the middle of the fire. But he told me that is the rewards of being a leader. the burden of being a leader can only be borne by those who are strong-minded, people who are full of integrity, people who stand for truth. And that is what President Lutendo Sigogo was and still is to me. He personalized the word integrity. You know, Sigogo was one person who would not even, when you are standing in a long queue, because of his knowledge and his stature, he would not even bribe or try to ask somebody to take him to the very front of the queue. He will stand in that queue until his turn comes. He was one person who would not, like the president of Blask just said now, there was everything about him exuded integrity and truth. Doing the wrong thing was not an option for him. And it pained him when those around him would seem to be aspiring to be doing such that used to pain him. He served with me in the BLA when he was my president. When I first served in the National Executive Committee, I was the head of events at the time. I crisscrossed the rest of South Africa with him during his term 2018-2019. He had a pet project. I don't know if you know about it. He had a pet project whereby the BLA, in every province that we went, we would gather money from the members and from the national coffers and buy sanitary pads, shoes and jerseys for students. I mean, are they called students or pupils? I think it's pupils in the high schools and coming from destitute families. And what struck me was his humility and his love for young people. You know, you would think that when we go and distribute those sanitary pads, he would ask me to go and speak, but he never did that. He said, Mabayeng, I am a father of girls. I want to teach the young girls about the journey of moving from being a girl to being a woman. He also taught the young men that they must respect their sisters when they transitioned from being girls to being women. He told them that there is nothing sinful or shameful about menstruating. He told them that that is when a girl is flowering into being a woman. When we came out of those projects and all those meetings with the young people, every single one of them wanted to be a lawyer, firstly, and secondly, to be a president. It didn't matter what president they were. All they could see was that they have never seen a young president in their entire lives. They always thought that to be a president, you had to be gray and, you know, almost bending when you are walking. They never thought that it was possible to be a president while you were still young. Benny told them, as I hear some of them are calling him Benny, told them that he grew up like they did. He showed them the possibilities of what they could become. He told them that it is not about where you come from. He told them that when every little child is born, they are born with dreams, born thinking that there is nothing that they cannot do in this world. It's normally the adults who tell the young children what they can do and what they cannot do, putting limitations on their minds. He did the same for me. He took me from my comfort zone and asked me to come and serve with him again in a committee of the Disabled. This is one of the committees in the BLA where we have a legal journal where we write on various aspects of the law, and we also analyze and critique judgments. Benny said to me, Mabayeng, you need to come and join me. Don't do the normal things that people are doing. I actually I wanted to be in my comfort zone and be in the property law committee because I am a conveyancer. It's at my fingertips. I don't even have to think twice about a challenge or a problem that is property related or conveyancing. And he said, Mabayeng, that is not what a leader does. A leader goes out there and faces the challenges that are there. Whether you know how to do it or not, it's immaterial. If you are a leader and you have a God-given, what is the word I'm looking for? I've got a room full of lawyers. What's the word I'm looking for?
Maybe I can help you.
Yes, ma.
In teaching, we say it's a talent.
Exactly, ma. Thank you. When you have a God-given talent, it is sinful to sit on it. Benny challenged everyone, President challenged everyone to be the very best that they could be. He used to say to me, Mabayeng, we are leading leaders. Everyone in the BLA is a leader. It's just that there must just be one at the front. We can't all be there. That's how Benny saw everyone. He respected everyone. President respected everyone. He did not care whether you were a person selling tomatoes on the street or whatever. He saw value in everything that everyone did. And he instilled that in all of us in the BLA and everybody who came across his path. I remember in one of our journeys, I think we were in Lusikisiki, where he had just inspired young people. And this community was very, very destitute. So they did, normally you find that, communities, they would prepare something for you. This time they did not. But there was this young kid who his mom had packed for him a lunch box. And this kid came very hesitantly to us and said that, my mom said I should share this with you. In the lunch box, it was a peanut butter and jam, apricot jam, I remember, because apricot jam is my favorite. And Sigogo said to me, Mabayeng, go to the car, get a cloth, let us put it down under the tree, and let us have a picnic. We had a peanut butter and jam sandwich picnic in Lusikisiki. I could see the young girl smiling. And when we left, she said, what you have done for me, nobody has ever done. Because even my other friends here at school do not want to share my peanut butter and jam sandwich. President turned that into a moment. We were all sitting there on top of that cloth, under the tree, eating our peanut butter and jam sandwich, laughing. It was one of the best days that I've ever spent with President Lutendo Sigogo. I will now proceed and read a little speech or a statement that has been prepared by me, being held by the Deputy President of the BLA, Mr. Bayete Maswazi. On the 31st of July, one of the star leaders of our beloved Black Lawyers Association ceased to breathe. In result, he ceased to guide, to command, counsel, and encourage as he always has done through his life as a member and leader of our beloved organization. On the 31st of July, a tragedy befell all those who have taken a stand on the side of justice and transformation. Those who have made a valiant commitment to the values more apply presently in our situation, being human rights, human dignity, and the rule of law, has lost a courageous champion. The Black Lawyers Association throughout its history has boasted many leaders who have made it to great heights in the fulfillment of its aims and objectives. For the past 44 years, it has seen many pass into history. It has been inspired by their courage and their commitments to its values. Lutendo Sigogo is no exception to these great and many galaxies of intellectual stars that have graced this glorious organization. He too passes to history to inspire. He too passes into the spiritual world to shine the light of courage for us who he leaves behind. All leaders in every sphere, he too attracted, as leaders in every sphere, he too attracted both privileges of leadership and the challenges. Of the privileges, I cannot speak because I know of none in the BLA. However, of the challenges, of course, of those are many to speak of. He too was doubted at many critical points. He too was suspected at many occasions. He too was criticized on many occasions. He too was rejected at many of them. But he never wavered. When doubted, he soared to greater heights like an eagle. When criticized, he exuded humility. When suspected, he lifted a hand of truth and assurance. When rejected, he proved even more vitality. He did all this with amazing humility. He loved the BLA with all of his heart. He lived the aims and objectives of the Black Lawyers Association without caring who was listening or watching. We refuse to believe that he simply associated with the BLA because of its name. He associated with the BLA because his role in the executive and its mandate, we are assured that he associated with the BLA because of its values that he lived for. The fortune of having had him as a leader must be a continuous source of inspiration for all of us. We have no words fit enough to thank the family that gave him to us. You gave birth to a courageous son, and we are richly favored to have been witnesses to his great work in the Black Lawyers Association. Farewell, my dear leader, my president, my comrade. As you commanded, I shall always take in favor of the poor and the marginalized. As you counseled, I shall maintain the BLA as a united fighting force for public good and justice for all. As you wished, I shall sincerely adhere to the values of the Black Lawyers Association. Rest in peace, my president. You have worked. In the past 2 days, I have been interviewed by many radio stations because they cannot understand what is happening. The passing of president has shaken the legal fraternity. Never in the history of our country have I ever seen such a thing happening. Ever since I got the call from Comrade Baitseng Rangata, I have never slept for more than 4 hours because of the calls that I'm getting from all over the world, not just South Africa. You can imagine the different time zones. It is even amazing that I can stand before you in my high heels. I got a call from 3 radio stations from Limpopo. One of them, I believe, it's a radio station here in Venda. And I was asked a question. If you were a 16-year-old Mabayeng, What is it? What is it that would inspire you? I said, a 16-year-old Mabaing would want to have the right to stand next to President Sigogo because he was a man full of integrity, a mentor, a father, a friend. I would aspire to be like him, and I would want to be next to him so that I can sponge of him all this humility, all this information that he had. I served with him also in the current NEC. He served with us for a year before he left us to go and pursue other avenues. When he left, I missed his quiet and peaceful leadership. He could guide you or goad you to do what you never thought was possible. All of us in the BLA were made greater because of his contributions, and we have been left poorer because of his passing. But as I said earlier, we must let him rest now. He has lived. You know, when you read and listen to people talking about him, you would be forgiven to think that you are talking about an 100-year-old man because of the many things that he has done. But yeah, rest in peace. Rest in peace, my brother. You have done your work. Rest in peace until our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ rises from the dead to come and give you your crown. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Linyai. You know, in Venda, we have got Munyai people, Munyai. So once you say Linyai, it's like you don't like that person, eh? Linyai, like, hey, these people are Linyai. So in Venda, it's not a good surname, Linyai. But I know it's like Munyai. So you must come back home, eh? Munyai. So if they ask you, tell them that you are Munyai. Okay. I've learned that, you know, a true leader will take you from your comfort zone to where you don't believe you can go. And that's reality. And if we have got leaders who are not doing that, please resign from your leadership role. You are doing nothing. And thanks a lot for lots of encouraging words that we heard from you. I'm calling upon the President, Mvuso, no, how do you pronounce this? No, TSC. What language is this one? Xhosa. I was saying apa. Mr. President. Huh? Oh, it's on Zoom. It's ready. Okay, yeah. Then we are going back to 3.1. Vuredzani Matiba. He will be the one coming. We will be watching on our screens. Rodzani, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Due to some technical glitches, you had to skip me while I was waiting on the other side to give a short address and to lay the ground for others who will come association. Be that as it may, that is what I prepared a short memoir by which I would like to give tribute to Mr. Sigogo, whom I used to call Benny. When I received the call, I accepted the task for not realizing how big it was going to be to talk about Mr. Sigogo. It was only when I was by myself that I realized the mammoth task that I've been given. This morning, I thought of obtaining a sick note to save myself from this huge task. Then I thought to myself, Benny will be ashamed that I ran away from the responsibility. Hence, I decided that I will take it head on, as he would have expected me to do. It is not easy to talk about Benny, given the work that he put up for the transformation and the betterment of the profession. Many in the national level just saw Benny rising to the top leadership. But where did it all begin? This should be the question that we all are asking ourselves. Inasmuch as it is true that he was a born leader, his rise to the top has to do with him becoming an active member of the Lutendo Association. One of the aims and objectives of the association was to fight for the retention of the status of the High Court, even though this battle was eventually won when the local High Court became the local seat of the Limpopo division of the High Court. I personally encountered Benny before I could even dream of him being my chairperson in the association. Coincidentally, he is the one person who recruited me to join the association, and I wonder what he saw in me. Unfortunately, I never got the chance to ask him that question, more so because now he's gone. There is so much to talk about Benny and his contribution towards the betterment and transformation of the profession. You already have heard, and you are still going to be hearing from about his contribution from speaker after speaker here today. I've already indicated that we, as the Lutendo Attorneys Association, we are the host association. And it is only fair and in the interest of time that I limit my tribute to our fallen hero, thereby giving an opportunity to our guests from far and wide to share with us their experience with Benny. Chivenda chiri, mweni asango walao lamaramani unazo. Go well, my comrade. I thank you.
Ro libuwa technology ko thusa vhathu ndi zwavhuḓi hezwinoni zwithu I'm still continuing with the program. We are calling upon the president, Mr. Mvuso Notice. You know, that's why I didn't marry a Xhosa, a girl. It's difficult to call their names. Huh? It will do. No, Mr. Mvuso. Mr. Mvuso. No, let me just call him the president. Why calling him by his name? Mr. President, the time is yours. Yeah. Okay, we will skip him for now. I will call the Legal Practice Council rep, Deputy Chairperson, Advocate. Is it Anthony? Athia. Oh, Athia. Okay. No, I'm not good in reading these names. Hence, you can't read my name, eh?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I'm not Advocate Anthea Platt, but given what was said to Ms. Mdluli earlier, I'll take it as a promotion. So I'm neither a lady nor an advocate. My name is Anthony Miller. I'm a member of the Legal Practice Council, and I've been a colleague of Lutendo Sigogo for a number of years, both at the Law Society of the Northern Provinces, where he was president. He followed on after myself, and now also at the Legal Practice Council. So I'm here today both as his friend and also on behalf of the Legal Practice Council in the absence of Advocate Platt. But everything I say, I know applies equally to myself and to the members of the Legal Practice Council. Program Director, I must just correct you. You were incorrect at the start of the program when you said we were going to hear about different people. We haven't heard about a different person. We've heard about one person, a consistent person, a man who followed one course and one course only. He didn't deviate from that course. He didn't show a different face to his family, to his colleagues, to the judiciary. In whatever capacity he acted, he was consistent in his principles and in the way he conducted himself. And we've heard that from speaker after speaker today. So in a way, what I'm going to say is really a different expression of what you've already heard, because I think when each of us sat down and thought about what we were going to say, the very same qualities and admirable qualities came to mind. And those are really the things that we're here to celebrate today. I too have prepared something short, which I'm going to deal or go through. I'm not going to observe the formal protocols listing everyone who's here. We're all here for a common purpose, and we're all equal in that purpose, which is to celebrate and pay tribute to our brother Lutendo Sigogo. So welcome to everybody, and I'm grateful as his friend and as his colleague that everyone is here and sharing this time with us. I think he would have expected it, and I don't think he would have been wrong with that expectation. Sorrow fills our hearts this sad moment, a sorrow that is deep and personal. Lutendo has silently closed the door of life and departed from us. Our lives will be empty in the areas that he had brightened for us. Albert Einstein said, "The value of a man should be seen in what he gives and not what he is able to receive." Lutendo was a man who gave. He was a man who never held back when it came to doing what was right, not just for some, but for all. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, as we are gathered here to remember and pay tribute to him, I'd like to speak in celebration of his life. His was a life that demanded notice, a life that exemplified brilliance, a life that inspired emulation, a life that burned bright so that others' paths were lit. I've known Lutendo since 2016 when he joined the Law Society of the Northern Provinces, the year after he was elected as its president. Lutendo was a strategic thinker, a visionary who was brilliant and innovative. As such, he contributed much to the development of the Law Society of the Northern Provinces. He generously gave of his knowledge, his expertise, his skills, and it was no surprise when he was elected to serve on the Legal Practice Council, the first non-racial, non-sectarian legal regulator in South African history. Lutendo was deeply concerned with improving not only the lot of individual legal practitioners, but also the staff and the public who use legal services. He tirelessly supported and championed initiatives that did this. From the very start of his journey in the profession, he worked tirelessly and selflessly, a period spanning 2 decades. So Ms. Lenya, I think, is correct to observe that if we're surprised at what has been achieved, we wouldn't be amiss in thinking that it was a much older person that had managed to achieve so much in such a short period of time. All who knew Lutendo would agree with me that time does not permit us to celebrate every achievement over his sterling career. He was committed to the transformation of the profession and the legal landscape, and everything that he did was towards achieving this goal. Lutendo served on the Executive Committee of the Legal Practice Council, as well as its committees, including the Finance and Human Resources Committee, which he chaired. Lutendo was an example to the people in his charge, a son his parents were proud of, a sibling his brothers and sister could look to, a loving husband to his wife, and a devoted father to his children. He was also a good friend to many of us and a great colleague. The character of the life he lived might be summed up in a few words. He was sincere, he was earnest, he was fearless, and perhaps most importantly of all, he was loyal. He exemplified leadership. He gave energy, commitment, and inspiration to all he worked with. Lutendo was someone who was not only cheerful to himself, but who gave much cheerfulness to others. He had a wonderful sense of humor and an infectious laugh. He was kind and dignified in his demeanor. At the Legal Practice Council, he worked with passion, integrity, and energy. The achievements of the first council are part of his legacy to the legal profession. By his passing, all the people who knew him will miss a highly intelligent, vibrant person with a rare friendliness and charm of personality. Lutendo was a genuinely warm and wonderful individual, one we will miss greatly. We have lost a brother, and the legal profession has lost a stalwart. Our sorrow is lessened only slightly with the comforting thought that we had the privilege to know him. Lutendo, idela nga mulalo. Thank you.
Rolibo wa maipfi abo bo amba zwavhuḓi nga maanḓa. I hope he understood what I'm saying. If not, he will have to come to me. I will explain to him. President Mukoni Francis Lihodi, Judge President actually, Mukoni Francis Lihodi, please come to the podium. But wait for this lady.
have just put on the surgical mask, the surgical gloves, because I know if Lutendo was here, he was not going to allow me to ascend to the podium without strict safety measures. He would have reminded me that you are above the age of 67. And as you might have recognized, I had a black mask earlier on. I have also changed it, deliberately so, to make a statement that Lutendo